I get questions and DMs all the time about how to grill and how to cook the perfect steak. And now that I have all these different types of grills, including a pellet smoker, which we just got, we can finally do a video where we cook steaks on the different grills, and then we're going to see how they all come out. So we're going to do one over charcoal, we'll do one on the pellet smoker, I'm going to do one on the griddle, one also in the pizza oven, and I've done them on all these different cookers at different points in time, but never at the same time. We're going to do a taste test at the end to see how they all taste. So I'm really excited to see how this is all going to come out. We are leaving Costco. We got our steaks since we're doing 4 of them. It's a good place to get them. Price is good, quality is good. So let's go home and grill these guys up. All right, so we got light rain for the next hour. So it's not too bad. We'll wait it out. Should still be pretty good, I think. It's the next day. It ended up raining all afternoon yesterday, so I think now hopefully we can get started on our steaks. All right, grills are fired up and are getting warmed up. So now we can prep the steaks, and I'm gonna season and prep them the same way to keep that flavor profile the same across all the grills. Let's get these guys out. These are really nice looking steaks too. Beautiful marbling. It's all those little specks of fat inside. Nice and thick. Seasoning them now while the grills are preheating gives them time to come up to room temperature, so that way they will cook more evenly and you get a much better final product. We're gonna keep it very simple. Go with a little olive oil on our steaks. This will help the seasoning stick better to the meat and will help develop a nice crust. And for the seasoning, we're going with our steak seasoning, again, to keep it the same, keep that flavor profile the same. It's butter, garlic, herbs, so it works great on steaks. Whew, it is so windy today. We lost the rain, but we got wind instead. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this sort of video where it's not just so much a recipe, but, you know, kind of showing you a little bit more. Season the fat cap too. This is gonna render down, get nice and crispy, so you wanna get seasoning on the sides and on that fat cap as well. And after they're seasoned, they're gonna sit here for another 10 minutes or so while these grills come up to temperature. So they're gonna start to sweat out a little bit, start to absorb that seasoning. I was trying to think which grill to start with first and kind of the different cooking methods that will work the best for each one. I think the pellet cooker is gonna take the longest because we're gonna do that reverse sear method where we're gonna start indirect heat, lower temperature, bring the steak up to about 110 degrees internal, and then crank up the heat to sear it off. So I'm gonna start with this one first. The griddle probably is going to be similar to the pizza oven, so this is going to be kind of medium high heat and just kind of flipping until it's ready. Same thing with the pizza oven. I'm going to use this little cast iron pan to put the steak on, and we'll slide this whole thing into the pizza oven to cook and just flip every few minutes. And a similar method on the charcoal on the Minimax here, just kind of high direct heat, flipping every minute or so. The Searwood is up to temperature, so let's get started on this one here first. Let me put this shelf up, by the way. We just installed this the other day, and this is really nice. Nice little accessory, gives you a little more prep space. Let's open this up. And so far, this thing's been running like a champ. I cooked a bunch of times on it already. We did pork shoulders, ribs, so really, really good first impressions. We'll take our steak. It also has a temperature probe, so we're going to insert it right into the center of our meat. We're going dead center on the grate here. I'm going to plug the probe in right here on the side. So it's going to kind of monitor that internal temperature. So right now it's 40 degrees, and we're going to leave it on at this 270, 275 until it hits about 110 internal. Let's do the griddle steak next. So my plan for this is we're going kind of over medium heat. I had to turn this down just a little bit. So we're going to go directly on the grate here. I do have a little olive oil there, and to help cook the steak and retain the heat, I'm going to put this on top. Let's do the pizza oven one. I'm gonna go just a little olive oil so our steak doesn't stick. Steak goes on. It's a windy day, so hopefully this works out. You know, we'll see. Oh, the fire went out. So, oh shoot. Okay, so that's on. So we're gonna slide this guy in just right there, okay? I'm gonna put this door here to, again, help retain the heat and hopefully block off some of that wind so it doesn't put our fire out. And lastly, we have our charcoal grill. So right on the grate, right over the coals. Beautiful. The griddle, the charcoal mini max, and the pizza oven, I'm gonna flip every 2 minutes or so. The pellet one, I'm gonna leave on, and I'm gonna flip that one halfway through. So right now it's about 50 degrees. So once it reaches maybe 70, 75, we'll flip that guy. Let's go flip these. Oh wow, look at that. Beautiful crust. Cooking on the griddle is almost like cooking on a cast iron skillet inside your house. You're gonna get this beautiful crust because it's a big flat surface, nice and hot. You know, we're thinking about doing a steak inside just to kind of compare, but this is almost like cooking inside because it is like a big cast iron skillet. I'm gonna get my glove here and let's flip the pizza oven one. Sizzling already. This fat's getting crispy. Give it a flip and slide this guy right in. And now we can go on to the mini max and we'll flip this one. Oh yeah, look at this. Trying to keep everything under control, you know, keeping an eye on all the grills here. Again, I'm really curious to see how all these will come off. The pizza oven one is probably the hardest one to cook because you have this big flame shooting over the top and it's really easy to burn the top of the steak before the inside actually cooks. So it's important to just keep flipping it, rotating it. The most important tool when cooking steaks is a thermometer. This is how you know your steak is done and ready and cooked to your desired temperature and doneness level. This is the ThermoPen from ThermoWorks. Nice and sturdy, super fast, very accurate. I've been using these for years. So if you're gonna buy any grilling tool or accessory, definitely get one of these because this will improve your cooking instantly because you know exactly when things are done and ready to go. This side of the steak is charring up faster because this side is facing the flame. So I'm gonna rotate it this way so it cooks now evenly on this other side as well. Let's flip this guy. Ooh, look at that. See, now it's looking really nice. Flipping your steak every 2 minutes or so will help build up that crust. So with each flip, each rotation, you get this nicer char and beautiful color on the outside. And back to the griddle. Let's flip this boy. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful crust, nice color. Okay, let's flip this guy here. So this one's right around 70 degrees now. Give this a flip. Okay, we're gonna start checking our internal temperatures just to keep an eye on these guys. So the ideal temperature for these New York strips for me is I'm gonna pull them off right around 120 or between 120 to 125 internal. They're gonna be resting for about 10 minutes and they're gonna come up close to 130, which is that ideal medium rare finish on these steaks. A few minutes in, just put your thermometer in. And you can see we are right around 97. So we have a couple more minutes to go. So this one is what, 85 roughly, so a little bit less. All right, this guy is temping right around 120. So I'm gonna stand it up and just sear off that fat cap. Let's check our charcoal steak. Boom, right around 120. Look at this beautiful color, beautiful crust from the charcoal. That fat is nice and crispy. So I'm gonna put this one on a tray like this. So the pizza oven steak will go here, so we'll know which one's which. Charcoal steak goes here. This is steak number 2, 3, so this is gonna be the last one. So that'll go right here. So 2 out of the 4 ready, flat top or griddle and charcoal. Well, let's check our pizza oven steak. This guy's been cooking here for a little while now. I think this one got a little bit charred up. Oh, actually it's not too bad. Okay, maybe a little bit. So this one's temping around 100 degrees, so probably still has another 5 minutes or so, but I don't really want the outside to burn too much or more than it is already. So I'm just gonna slide this guy in right there, and I'm gonna turn the flame off so it doesn't burn it. We'll put the door in, so it's gonna retain that heat inside the pizza oven and continue cooking the steak on the inside. Yeah, so temp-wise, that thing is still right around, look at that, 790 degrees. So that is scorching hot in there. One other little tidbit of advice. So these 2 steaks are cooked, right? The charcoal one and the griddle one. They're resting. They've been sitting now for a couple minutes, so I'm just gonna flip them so they rest kind of evenly and one side doesn't overcook compared to the other. Feels like this one's done. Feels pretty firm, but let's just temp it to make sure. So 123, right? So right kind of where we're going for. between that 120, 125 mark. Let's pull this guy out on our tray. The steak on the Searwood is temping right around 100 degrees, so I'm gonna crank the heat up, and we're just gonna go as high as it goes, which is 600 degrees. Should I open the lid? Yeah, I will open the lid a little bit. All right, so finally we've got our steak on the Searwood, giving it a quick sear, and it's looking really nice. That fat is getting nice and crispy, getting that beautiful color on the outside. We still have a few more degrees to go before I pull it off, and our last steak will be ready to go. Steaks are done, rested, and they are all looking really nice. So we have the griddle steak, the pellet smoker, the charcoal grill, and the pizza oven. So really just kind of on first inspection, the crust, the darkest crust is on the charcoal steak. You have those clear lines. That fat is really well charred up. The pizza oven one is kind of borderline burnt a little bit more on the edges, like on this one, on this steak right here. That's because that fire was really shooting over the top of that steak, charred it up a little bit more, especially the fat cap. You can see this thing is, it is a little toasty. This one is the charcoal one, really nice and even. You do have some of the grill marks from the grates, but otherwise it is beautiful. Look how juicy this is. Just from sitting and resting, that fat cap has a really nice color. This is the pellet cooker steak, and this one looks really nice. Not only does it have a beautiful color, it does have a really nice sear. That fat cap has that beautiful dark color on it as well, so I'm really excited to try this one. And then this is the griddle steak, also nicely kind of charred up around the edges. Same thing with the fat cap. All of these are looking really great, so let's cut into them and see how they taste. You can see exactly how we did and the doneness level and how they came out. Let's just start with the one on the right. So this is from the pizza oven. This one is definitely overcooked. You can clearly see that overcooked part all around. The center is just a little bit pink right there, and you can tell that it was overcooked just from that harder crust on the outside. Again, that's from cooking it with those flames. The wind did play into it just a little bit because it was hard to keep that flame nice and steady and the temperature more even, but this one is definitely overcooked. The charcoal steak and the one on the pellet smoker on the Weber Searwood, these two are absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for when I cook a steak. We have the griddle steak next, and this one is kind of borderline closer to the medium than medium rare side. It's still nice and pink in the center, but I would like for it to be a little bit more closer to the pellet smoker and the charcoal grill steak. We see what they look like. Let's cut a slice and see what they taste. I mean, nice color, nice crust, maybe just a little bit over. I mean, if I pulled this off maybe a minute sooner, it would have been perfect. Taste-wise, it's delicious. Cooking the steak on the griddle, or if you do it on a cast iron skillet, you can definitely taste the seasoning a lot because it all kind of cooks in its own spices. Nothing really burns off because it's all right there. That crust is nice and flavorful. It's a really delicious steak. The pellet smoker, yeah, this one is beautiful. Look at that. Let's try that. A little different from the griddle steak. It's a little bit more smoky, which makes sense because we were cooking indirect at that lower temperature with the pellets, so the smoke comes through. It's not overpowering. It's a very mild smoky flavor. You can still taste the seasoning, and you do get that kind of flame finished flavor out of it, which you usually don't get on these pellet cookers. That is a really tasty steak. All right, let's move on to the charcoal one. So this was on the Mini Max, right over the coals. Nice color, beautiful crust. This one is really similar to the pellet steak in the sense that it has that mild smoky flavor from cooking it over the charcoal, but it has that stronger kind of fire cooked flavor to it. Delicious crust on the outside from cooking over those hot coals. Nice and tender, still tastes the rub. It's a really good one. And finally, we have the pizza oven overcooked steak. Overcooked a little bit, I guess. Let's give it a try. It's not really bad. It's not as bad as I thought it might be. That crust is super flavorful. Like, it's kind of burnt on the outside, but it has that little kind of crunch to it, little crisp, and you can just taste that kind of fire right in that steak from, you know, that flame that was shooting over the top. I mean, it'd be awesome if it was just a little bit less done. Maybe pulled it off, I don't know, 3 minutes sooner. It would have been perfect, nice and tender. But yeah, it's not too bad actually. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. The ones that I like the most, it's gonna be the charcoal one and the pellet one, which I'm actually surprised I like the pellet one as much as I do. Usually I kind of lean towards the charcoal cooked foods more, but this one is really delicious. It was super easy to make. The griddle one is going to be second, and then the pizza oven one is going to be last, just because it's a little bit overcooked, but the crust on it is tasty. So that's how you cook 4 steaks on 4 different grills, and that's what you get. So hopefully you guys like this video, found it a little informative. It's a little bit different from our other cooking videos that we have. So let me know in the comments what you think. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and I will see you next time. Here, you get a little bite too. Good boy. There you go. Oh yeah, that's good. He doesn't really care what it's cooked on or what it is. He'll just eat it anyways, right? Yeah, it's a good boy. It's a good boy. Good steak. And gone.